see. Make that a little bit bigger. Where's Miss Lindetti? I'm just unmuted Miss Pacias. And where's Miss Lindetti? I don't see her here.
She's under, she's there, Miss. She has it as Miss Linda.
Ah, I'm sorry.
No worries.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I'm Miss Landechi. I hope you're all having a great evening. I'm one of the USC college advisors, along with my partner who is not present at the moment, Miss Marquez. We both are here supporting all of our students here at Cabrillo, but especially our seniors because we know that they are in the midst of graduating high school and also transitioning to college, hopefully, right? So we are here to support them all. I'm here to just talk to you all about some requirements that are needed for your child to go to college, what that maybe looks like, the options that they have, and then also just some of the deadlines that are coming up. But I'm really excited to support you all today and give you a little bit more information, especially as parents, as we wonder about financial needs and things like that. But at any point in time, feel free to drop anything in the chat. Feel free to ask us about anything related to college, financial aid, and we can go ahead and support you as best as we can throughout this presentation. But happy to be here, y'all.
Great, thank you. How about Miss Pacias?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Guadalupe Pasillas, and I'm here this evening representing Long Beach City College, where I serve as the matriculation manager. Today, I'll be talking to you all a little bit more about how your student can receive 2 years of free tuition at Long Beach City College. Thank you.
And my name is Miss Graneri, and I am the activities director here at Cabrillo High School. So I'm the director who oversees ASB and plans all the activities, both virtually and in person on campus. And I'm one of the people that helps plan all our senior activities.
Great, and let's see. And with that, let's get into the nitty gritty, right? We are talking about graduation, so let's see. So, pretty basic. We expect that every single Cabrillo senior graduates with all their credits. We expect you to graduate with all your credits. That's what we've been working towards since day one, 3 years ago. So very briefly, it's 4 years of English, 4 years of math, which our school board increased to 4 years about 2 years ago now. 3 years of social studies. So we're talking about world history for 10th graders, US history for the juniors, and then econ government for the seniors. Your children should be in econ government right now. Science, which for our students is usually biology and either chemistry or physics. PE, which of course our old governor, Mr. Schwarzenegger, put into law that all freshmen have to have PE and pass freshman PE. And along with that, another extra year of PE, and that's why we have 20 credits or 2 years worth of PE as a requirement. We have 1 year of a world language class, which at Cabrillo we offer French and Spanish, and then 1 year of art. And at Cabrillo we have about 10 or 11 art classes, anywhere from animation to digital art, to drawing and painting and photography, to guitar and orchestra. Don't forget the choir. We have all kinds of different art classes at our school and electives. And I always bring up electives at the end. It feels like a lot, 60 credits. In the school year, you usually get 60 to 70 credits if you have 6 or 7 classes. 60 credits feels like a lot, but it actually goes by really fast because what happens is every time you go above and beyond. So for example, your student, your senior, for example, is really into art and they take multiple art classes. Maybe they take, maybe they're in a sport for 4 years, or maybe they do orchestra for 4 years. All those extra years that they accrue, which means extra years that they take those classes, that those count as electives. So as long as you get to that magic number, which I'm circling right now, which is 220, as long as it gets to 220 credits, rarely do electives ever not get to 60 credits. It's almost every single time. I actually have never seen it in 20 years not get to 60 elective credits. So as long as they get to 220, we meet the requirements, we're in good shape. Okay. And like we said before, if you have any specific questions about any of the topics that we cover, go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll take care of them and take care of them as they come up. Oops, wrong one. There we go. All right. So, you know, our superintendent last year challenged us to, you know, be more celebratory. And I was like, celebratory? That's right. We don't even think about it. So it's something that we love to celebrate our students, from, you know, perfect attendance to student of the month luncheons to, you know, all kinds of different certificates that we print. That Miss, you know, Garnieri is the one that's in charge of a lot of those type of activities. Many of our seniors get special recognition based on their grade point average after the first 7 semesters of high school. Last semester was one of those semesters that we've never seen before because it was credit. It was like a pass, no pass. So either you got the credit or didn't get the credit, but it didn't affect your GPA in any form. Okay. So we usually get upwards of about 150 to 200 students that graduate under these categories. So I wanted to make sure that we highlighted them for you. So a student that earns a 3.0 to 3.49 graduates with honors. And when it says weighted, that means that whenever they take an honors class or they take an advanced placement class, like an AP class, they earn an extra point, which means that if they got a B, when it comes on their transcript, it actually counts as an A. And so whenever they take honors or advanced placement, which are advanced classes, we give them that extra point on their transcript. Those students that graduate with honors graduate with a gold tassel. The tassel is that, you know, you can kind of see it in one of these right here. That's one of the gold ones here. So that's a gold tassel. Okay. So as I told the seniors when I was in class, it's a gold tassel. But did you know that on your graduation diploma that your parents usually put on the wall, you get a little sticker, it's about this big, and it says honors on it. And that's really special because not very many students get that. Graduation with high honors, that's a weighted GPA from 3.5 to 3.99. So you're thinking mostly A's, maybe a couple B's, probably not that many C's. They graduate with that gold tassel along with a gold sash, which you'll see in the picture on the next slide. And they get a high honor sticker. That's usually about 40 to 50 seniors that qualify under that category. Then we have, as you can see in the picture, you have a lot of jingle and jangle, right, Ms. Garnieri? There's a whole bunch of, whenever the graduates are walking by, you just hear the clanking of all the different medals that they earn. So graduation with the highest honors, that's a weighted GPA of a 4.0 or above. So what that means is that that particular student that last year we had 31, the year before we had 32, that's a student that earned almost straight A's. They might have had maybe 1 or 2 B's. They might have taken honors classes or AP classes that boosted up their GPA to a 4.0 or above, and that's why they earned that honor. It's a very special recognition. And so those students get to graduate in full white. That's what that picture shows. So they get a full white cap and gown with the cap and the gown, and they still get their gold tassel. And they get that sticker again, but this time it's the highest honor sticker. Okay. Last but not least are the valedictorians. So valedictorian, it's so special because very, very few students get to that level where they had straight A's across the board for every single class, every single high school class that they took. And so valedictorian, like I typed in there, is a student that earns straight A's in every single high school class in the first 7 semesters. We can only count the first 7 semesters because we have to send out for all kinds of stuff. So you can see in the picture, you can kind of see in the picture if you really look closely that this green sash says valedictorian. And they get the green sash and they get the gold tassel and they get the white gown. These students here are from CEDs. Some of them are from CEDs, so they have other stuff as well. So know that last year we had, I think it was 10 valedictorians, 10 students that graduated with straight A's, which was fantastic. It was the first time we got to double-digit valedictorians. And this year, I think we're on track to have 6. So we'll see how it goes after these grades when we get to the semester. So Ms. Garneri, do we have any questions in the chat?
Ms. Lindici is actually already answering one of them. There was a question about, should my son list all of his PLTW courses on his college applications as well as his art courses? And she said, yes, great question. Your son should only list classes that are A to G courses on their college applications. You can view if the course is an A to G course on their transcript. There will be a small P on the left side of the classes when listed.
Right. Any other questions that pertain to graduation or honors or anything like that?
It doesn't
No,
look
we're
like
good?
it at the moment.
Doesn't look like it.
You're
Okay.
good.
Okay, Ms. Lindici, I think you're on. Let's see. Oh,
Alrighty.
yes.
Perfect. Alrighty, everybody. So thank you, Mr. Donis, for explaining the graduation requirements, right? And how many courses students need to take in order for them to graduate from Cabrillo. Now we're going to be talking about A through G requirements. Now these are a little bit different because these courses are classes that your child needs to take in order for them to be eligible to attend a four-year university. So these are some of the classes that are listed, right? So we see A through G, right? We have 2 years of history that are required. We have 4 years of English that are required. With math, we have 3 years are required, but in the Long Beach district, all your children will be taking 4 years. In science, you need 2 years are required, but 3 are recommended. And the reason that we have some of them listed, right, that some of them are required, but we have others that are recommended. So when students are applying to colleges and colleges see that your child has taken biology, chemistry, right, you're meeting those 2 sciences, but then you're also adding that physics, that just shows the colleges that your child is challenging themselves and also accomplishing that challenge by taking that course and doing well in it. So there's all these classes that are needed, right? We have language other than English, 2 years are required, but we also encourage 3. And then we have visual and performing arts, 1 year is required. And then we have that college prep elective, 1 year required. Now it's important when we recognize A through G and when we look at the A through G classes that we recognize that they're different from graduation requirements. As Mr. John was saying, right, students need 2 years of PE in order for them to graduate from high school. But for A through G, when you're applying to colleges are not interested if you've taken PE. Great, you've taken it, amazing, awesome, but they're not necessarily focused on that. So it's important that if your child is interested in attending a 4-year university, a school like Cal State Long Beach, Dominguez Hills, UC Irvine, UC Santa Barbara, UCLA, right? That your student is making sure that they're taking those A through G classes to be eligible for them. Now, it's really important that students also know that not only is it important to take these classes, but they also need to be passing these classes and doing well with them. So they need to be receiving a C or higher. And if your child has taken one of these A through G courses, let's say maybe they take Spanish 3-4 and they didn't do well on it and they receive a D or an F, when we see that D or F, we want to make sure that we remind our child to do over that class, to take it over so that they can make up that credit and be eligible for that A through G. As long as they meet all the required classes and pass with a C or higher within their college experience, then they are good to go. That is one of the steps that is needed in order for you to be eligible to apply to a 4-year university. So like I said, those are schools like Cal State Long Beach, Dominguez, UCLA, those universities. Any questions about A through G? And feel free, like I said, at any point in time to drop them in the chat, but we can go ahead and move forward. And so now we have the senior timeline. So this is really important to just take into consideration. At this point in time, it's November. We're in the midst of college applications. So if your child is UC or CSU eligible, and what that pretty much means is that your child has met the A through G requirements and has passed all their classes with a C or better, and they have a GPA that is over a 2.0 or 2.5 GPA, they are eligible to apply to Cal State universities like Cal State Long Beach, Dominguez, Northridge, and Fullerton, and many other schools. And if your child reaches over a 3.0 and above and also has completed other A through G requirements, then they are eligible to take or to apply to UC schools like UCLA, one of the most popular, UC Santa Barbara, UC Irvine, and so many forth, right? So It's important that we're just aware of what it takes in order for our child to be eligible for these schools. And if they are, and they are eligible to apply, then we want to make sure that we remind them that the college application deadlines are coming up. So as we see, the UC applications are due at the end of this month on the 30th. Then we have that UC application due December 4th. Most of our California public schools are no longer accepting and needing SAT or ACT scores. They have, diminished that. That's no longer needed. However, that does vary for private and out-of-state schools if that's something that your child is also interested in applying for colleges. So that's currently happening right now at the moment. We want to just remember the difference between CSUs and UCs. They're two different systems, right? And so Cal States typically, they're smaller schools. They are have a lot of students, as well as the UCs, right? But the UCs have more of a student life feeling. A lot of students live on campus. There's bigger classes. It's more research based. So there's just differences about that. But I would love if anyone has any questions where we can give you some examples. And so what is an example of a college elective or elective preparatory course? That's a great question. So on your A through G, right, we have all the classes listed. You need English, math, science, all that list goes on. The college elective prep class, pretty much it can be any of the other A through G classes, any extra one. So let's say your child does an extra year of visual and performing arts. Perfect. That can be a college elective prep class, right? There can also be another language class. It can also be another, maybe they advanced in science. Maybe they did, it's pretty much any of the A through G classes, any of the extra ones that they took, they can go ahead and add that to the category of the college prep class. So if it's in the A through G courses and you see that listed, then it's going to also fit in that college prep class. And then, yes, I did say that SATs are no longer required. So if you are interested in applying to Cal States or UCs, they are no longer asking for that test anymore. So that's a great relief for a lot of students, right? But I want to make sure that we acknowledge that if your child is interested in applying to a private or out-of-state schools, that we just double check those requirements, because those requirements do vary. And so now moving forward to December, January, right? This is when most of our college applications have already reached the deadline. This is when we are also having LBCC come or talk to our Cabrillo students and making sure that they're doing the application, since the application is now open. And we will encourage students to apply to LBCC because it's always a great option and such a great school, a local school, especially for our Cabrillo students. And we want to encourage them to complete those applications by January or February. And the reason that we say that is because the sooner that they complete that application, get that orientation done, right, they have a better way of being able to be eligible for that priority registration and these special perks that LBCC offers, like Biking Summer Voyage and many other things that Lupe will talk about with us today. And then also, of course, we always want to remind our students to also start completing their financial aid application. And then that will move us over to March and May. March, we have our financial aid applications due. That's many of the questions what our parents have, right? About how can I afford college? It's through the financial aid application. We want to encourage all of our students, no matter what their plans are, to apply for financial aid. It's going to support a lot of our students, especially our low income students. For personal instance, I went to Cal State Long Beach and I applied for my financial aid, and I got my entire education at a four-year university paid for through doing my financial aid application. So that was thousands and thousands of dollars being saved by just doing a free application. So it does not cost anything. And I'll go ahead and go a little bit deeper as to what they're asking for in that application. And that application will be due March 2nd. So yes, it is free to apply for everybody. And we'll explain a little bit more about that. And then lastly, just ending off the year for our students who are going to be applying to four-year universities, May 1st is their deadline of when to choose their school. So a lot of our students will apply to several four-year universities, UCs, Cal States, maybe out-of-state schools. May 1st is the day that they need to confirm, okay, I'm going to the school and I'm going to do it. And so it's a big day for us and we love to celebrate our students. But that's pretty much how the year is going to plan out for many of our seniors. So make sure you take a photo of this, remind your child of this, these important deadlines. And then we also, like we said, financial aid is really important. So that's going to be due March 2nd. Like I said, there's going to be, that application is completely free for the financial aid application. And so I know that there was a question in the chat asking, is there application fees? So yes, for Cal States, it does cost $70 for a student to apply to one school. For each school they want to apply to, it costs $70 or so. And then for the UCs as well. Now it's important, if your child usually and typically gets free and reduced lunch at Cabrillo High School, they most likely are going to qualify for those free college applications. And so the way that it works is on the college application, it's going to ask them how many people live in the family, how much parent income is from their taxes, right, 2019. Then it will automatically verify and see if your child qualifies for the fee waiver. Like I said, most likely if your child gets free and reduced lunch, they will. And then that will qualify them for 4 fee waivers. So 4 for the Cal States and then 4 for the UCs if your child is eligible and wanting to apply. And so, yes, so for financial aid, right, due March 2nd, we have 2 applications. The first one is a FAFSA. Typically, everybody hears about this. This is for our U.S. citizens and permanent residents. And then for our undocumented students or students who are DACA recipients, they're going to be applying to the California Dream Act. They're both the same application. They are both free. And the only difference is the FAFSA, you're getting money and the student is getting money offered by the federal government and the state of California, when the California Dream Act is only money given by the state of California. So that is just 2 differences, but your child does not need to complete both applications. They need to do either or, not both, just depending on their status. And so what is needed for the financial aid for your child to do this with ease and with confidence, we want to make sure that we have all this information for the parents. So we have their date of birth, their date of marriage or divorce or separation, their social security number if they have one, their 2019 tax forms, and also their W-2 forms. And if the parent does not have a social security number, but the child is a U.S. Citizen or a resident, but like I said, the parent does not have a social security number, you will still encourage your child to do the FAFSA application. The California Dream Act is only for students who are undocumented themselves. And so the student will then need their social security number if they have one, like I said, and then if their taxes in case they have one. But we want to remember that application is due March 2nd. And then lastly, this is just some of my information, right? So here's me and myself, my partner. Here's our email. We also have an Instagram that we encourage our students to follow. Please, if you have any questions, our doors are always open. You can always contact us. We also speak Spanish for any folks who are here and encourage or appreciate Spanish language as well. And then at this moment in time, we are holding college workshops every day from 1:15 to 3:15. This is going to be one of our last weeks having it before we have Thanksgiving break, but we will be having it this whole entire week. So I believe we're going to be extending that till Friday as well to support all of our students because we're having a lot of students come in. But like I said, you can always encourage your students to follow us on Instagram to get that link, and we'll be available to help them. But thank you so much, everybody, and I hope you got all your questions answered. And if not, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll be here to continue answering them.
Yes, and just like she said, her contact information along with Ms. Marquez's contact information is on that, on this particular screen. We dropped the presentation in the chat, so there's a link to the presentation, so that way you'll have their contact information. I highly recommend you follow their Instagram because it has so much information about, aside from the application workshops, also the college rep sessions that we have as well. We have representatives from different universities that come in and present for our students. So really, really recommend that you follow us, or actually follow them and us. And my contact information and Ms. Granier's contact information will be at the end of the presentation. All right, so we had some questions about Long Beach City. Let's see. All right, Ms. Pasillas. Oops. Ms. Pasillas?
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. I was muted. I want to start off by thanking Cabrillo High School for giving us this opportunity to speak to our seniors and families this afternoon. This is just one of the many ways that we work closely to ensure that your students are able to successfully transition to Long Beach City College if that's their school of choice. So today I'm here to present to you all a few reasons why your students should consider attending Long Beach City College. The first reason why students should consider attending the college is because it's a fiscally sound decision. Students at Long Beach City College may be eligible to receive 2 years of free tuition. They can receive up to 2 years of free tuition through a program called Long Beach College Promise. This awards students free tuition for both the fall and spring terms. To receive this award, students must be a first-time college student, which most of your students should be a California resident, apply for a fall semester, be enrolled in 12 units in fall and spring semester, so full-time, complete the financial aid application, FAFSA or California Dream Act, submit the participation agreement, enroll straight from high school, and graduate from Cabrillo High School. Alrighty. So as you learn now, your students are eligible for 2 years of free tuition at our school, which promote access. Now, to promote retention, two of the ways that we do this is through 2 success programs. The first one is the first year experience program. So earlier I referenced a participation agreement. It's basically a 4-question survey located in their Viking portal that allows them to opt into Long Beach College Promise and the first year experience program. This program allows, helps students identify a degree pathway and persist onto their second year. To be eligible for the student must complete all of their prerequisites for Long Beach College Promise. With that said, there is no additional steps that students need to complete in order to be part of the first year experience program. We highly encourage students to engage in this program because in many ways it simulates the work that our high school partners do. I know that our counselors, administrators, USC advisors do a really great job of ensuring that students meet a series of milestones. This program does that by assigning them a dedicated counselor and success coach. Okay, so that's the first year experience program. And as a reminder, they automatically opt into this program by completing the Long Beach College Promise participation agreement. The second success program that we have in place for your students, this is an exclusive program for Long Beach Unified, is Promise 2.0. Promise 2.0 is a guaranteed transfer admission at Cal State Long Beach. This program is designed specifically for a senior that knows they want to go to Cal State Long Beach, right? That is their dream school. But in addition, they're interested in studying one of the 10 following majors. That includes psychology, communication studies, business administration, criminal justice, English, mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering, computer engineering, computer science, history, studio arts, and liberal studies education. So we curated this list of majors because those were the most applied to majors from Long Beach City College. The requirements for Promise 2.0 are completely the same as Long Beach College Promise and first year experience. We encourage students that are interested in participating in any of our success programs to complete that participation agreement before April 16th. The reason for that is because that'll give them access to priority registration, which allows them to get a front of the line pass to register for classes. Students that complete this agreement after April 16th will be able to register for classes during open registration. So we talked a little bit of access, we talked about retention. One of the ways that we promote completion is through our student resources, success programs. We have over 36 dedicated offices on our campus that are here to serve your students. Some of the ones that I'd like to highlight today is the Office of Disabled Students Programs and Services, also known as DSPS. This office coordinates any academic adjustments, also known as accommodations, for students with qualifying disabilities. If a student's interested in enrolling in this program, there is an orientation that they need to complete and submit appropriate documentation. Another program that is here to serve your students is Dreamer Services. Dreamer Services serves students that identify as undocumented or dreamers through services like counseling and scholarships. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you a little bit more now about the enrollment steps in the slide to come. So a student that's interested in enrolling at our college must complete 10 matriculation steps, 10 enrollment steps. The first step is to apply for admission. Our application opened October 1st and it is completely free. The second step is to complete the financial aid application, either the FAFSA or the California DREAM Act. 3 is set up your Viking portal. It's important that students do this step because steps 3 through 10 are housed in their student portal. 4 is completing the online orientation, which provides students with more information as to how they can navigate the college. 5 is completing the participation agreement, which we referenced earlier for our 3 promise programs. 6 is checking your course placement for classes in English, math, and reading. Something I want to mention is that students no longer have to take a placement test for our college. 7 is they must meet with a college counselor. We are offering that in this virtual setting via telephone and online. 8 is they must register for classes. 9 is pay their fees and then get ready to attend the first day of class. This is a very thorough list, but one thing I want to reference is that we have a dedicated staff member, Samantha Flores, whose contact information you see on the slide, who's here to serve your student every single week, Thursdays from 12 to 5 p.m. And she will be here to guide the student through these 10 matriculation steps. Now, I know that was a lot of information we covered. All of this information lives in our matriculation guide. After I finish presenting, I'll be sure to add that in the chat so you all can reference more information about the promise programs and enrollment steps. Thank you so much.
We didn't get a chance, let me see. We didn't get a chance to talk about the compulsory applications for the seniors.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Duanes, for bringing that up. So as Mr. Duanes mentioned, compulsory applications. So we're super excited that for the second time, we will be collaborating with Cabrillo on helping every senior apply to Long Beach City College. So it's important to note that this application is not binding. Therefore, your students will not be required to go to Long Beach City College. They will not be charged any fees by applying. But this is one of our equity strategies that we've put in place to ensure that every student gets started with the matriculation steps and is connected to Samantha Flores and is able to benefit from the 2 years of free tuition if they choose to do so. We're going to be following up with you all via email with a letter explaining more about what this entails and what your students will need to bring for this application. Now, Mr. Duanes, is there anything I might have missed?
No, I was just going to add that the plan is to start on December the 8th. So the compulsory applications will be completed. The Long Beach City applications will be completed beginning the week of December 8th in the senior English classes. So of course, we want you to attend every single class, every single day. But the week of December 8th is even more important because we're going to have representatives from Ms. Pasilla's office come in to work in each of those senior English classes. So we'll have 2 of the representatives come in and help students start the application and on until they get through the application. As you can see in that checklist, there's a whole bunch of different steps, but Ms. Flores, who's bilingual, will definitely be able to help your students get through it, as well as our USC advisors, because we've had a year of experience, so hopefully it'll be even much more smoother than last year. And like I mentioned in the chat, this particular document, along with 2 other documents about Long Beach City, which are actually bigger, more like pamphlet style documents, are in the chat as well. So those links are towards the top of the chat. Okay. Ms. Graneri, do we have any other questions about Long Beach City College?
I believe that there's 2 questions in the chat that I've seen, Mr. Duanes, that asked about students that have taken dual enrollment courses through Long Beach City College. Are they eligible for this program? The answer is yes, because the units that they might have taken with our college are with dual enrollment. and the units that they will take moving forward post-graduation is as a first-time college student. So yes, they are eligible.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Pasillas. Okay, Ms. Granieri.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So ASB and the Activities Office oversees the Senior Activities Senior Week, which takes place from June 11th through June 16th. Now, we haven't listed any dates on these just because all the dates are to be announced due to COVID. We are pending on COVID regulations that are dependent on the health department. Those will determine what we're able to do and what we're able to hold. But typically these are the events that we do have for our seniors on campus, which is we have Senior Awards Night. Last year we were able to do it virtually. It turned out great. Senior distribution, which entails getting their cap and gown, any honor regalia, any things that they ordered, their senior mug, tickets to different events, and graduation tickets. We have a senior breakfast and grad walk where the seniors after the breakfast walk in their cap and gowns to the local elementary schools and K-8s and walk down down the hallways of the kindergarten classrooms. And then we have our senior picnic and senior drive-through parade, which was what we started last year and is a tradition that we are going to continue this year, where we'll have a senior drive-through parade through campus and then finally graduation. I did leave off on the list is senior prom and senior grad night, which we'll go a little bit more in depth next slide. But again, remember all these are based on what happens with COVID and the regulations that are given to us by the health department and the district. So this year's senior prom is right now set for May 15th at the Maya Hotel in downtown Long Beach. The ticket prices are located here where it's $95 with the senior packet, and then it incrementally goes up if they buy it individually. Up until November 6th, it was $100. And then at the door, as you guys can see, is $130. A formal dinner is included in the prom, and students are able to choose their attire appropriately. We do have students, a lot of times girls ask, we do a presentation with the seniors of appropriate dress for senior prom for both males and females, and making sure that everybody understands the regulations when entering the prom venue. Senior grad night is another night that we have for the seniors, which will take place on June 4th at Six Flags. The seniors, well, the juniors last year, who are now seniors, they voted on, they had 3 choices: Disneyland, Six Flags, and Universal Studios. Six Flags won. The ticket cost is $130 with the senior packet and $140 individual price and $150 the day of. They do leave, they tend to get to Cabrillo the day of their event about 3 o'clock to start their check-in process, which they will go through a security check. They get their bags checked. And then we go through a presentation of what is allowed and not allowed. And we load the bus at 5 p.m. The parks open by 9 for them, and we return by 5 a.m. We load the bus at 4 a.m. the next day and return to Cabrillo at 5 a.m. So it's a Friday night until Saturday. The bus price, the price includes the bus cost and food voucher, which they get at Six Flags, which is usually a buffet. The students must ride the bus to and from grad night. They cannot take their own transportation there. They must get on the bus at Cabrillo and get off the bus at Cabrillo the next day. They will be checked prior to boarding the bus also. And do know that if a student gets caught with anything when they arrive there, their parent or guardian must come pick them up. There is a contract that the students will sign. So they will have to sign that contract also, that they will get your signature, knowing that if anything does occur that is against our list, they will have to be picked up from the venue. Yes.
Oh, I was just going to add that Six Flags for grad night is fantastic. So if you're on the fence about why is it not Disneyland or whatever, trust me, try going to Six Flags for grad night is unbelievable. So much fun. And that's for adults. I can imagine for the kids, it's even better.
There's a couple of questions in the chat that I wanted to answer. So how do we pay for the packet? And does my child pay at the school office? You can pay for the packet online. On the school website, we have a student online store, and you can have your child or yourself pay for it online. So everything is now done online that you can pay for it. And if they need to make an appointment, they can come up and pay at the banker's window if necessary, if they're doing payments. You can also contact our banker, Claudia Yella, on the phone, and she will also be able to take payments over the phone. Yes, are any of these fees refundable if activities are canceled? Yes, last year was the first year that we had to cancel these activities. So we did refund the students for prom, grad night, and the activities that they did have to pay for, their panoramic, senior mug, but the yearbook they still are able to get. And so anything that we're able to get for them, we do get, but the activities will be refunded to them. Okay, so graduation is the next and the culminating activity, which will take place on June 16th. It is located in our Jaguar Stadium. This is a ticketed event. So the time is from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Students need to arrive at 3:30 in the large gym to line up. Each graduate is provided with 4 free tickets, complimentary tickets during distribution day. Then they may purchase up to 5 more at $10 each from June 1st through June 5th. So at that point, they can have about 9 tickets. They can purchase 5, but they will receive 4 free tickets. After distribution day, then families may start purchasing tickets at the banker's window from June 14th through the 16th, the day of, at $10 each, and until we sell out of our tickets. Typically, we have 4,200 tickets, and once we sell out, then there will be no tickets sold. There are no tickets sold at the door. Everything is done beforehand, and each ticket is $10. Cap and gowns. I know last year was brand new with the idea of every student purchased a cap and gown last year, even though they didn't have the typical graduation ceremony. They did use their cap gowns in their drive-through ceremony. It was an amazing experience for the kids. Many of them said that they wish that they only had the drive-through ceremony. It was a lot more intimate, and the families were able to be with their child in the car in their cap and gown, taking pictures at the end. Cap and gowns are $45. Now, they're not mandatory, but cap and gowns are offered at $45, which you keep. You go to the Jostens website, and they have other packages and items that you can purchase also. All the cap and gowns are ordered online through Jostens, and then the cap and gowns will be delivered to Cabrillo, and we will distribute to all the students. There's the number there. Also, we've been putting out information on social media and also through email with all the information. You can also find out all the senior activity on our school website, and ASB has a Google site that is also on the website that leads you to all the senior information there. There's a question about, is there any discussion of how graduation will be handled in case the school site remains closed? Last year, was the first time we encountered this. So last year we had a drive-through parade on campus, and I can have Steve discuss a little bit more about that and how he thought it went. And then we had a virtual ceremony that we created at Cabrillo for all of our graduates. We did a virtual ceremony for them. All their names were called out, and we did a video. And then the district did a district-wide celebration ceremony with all the schools included. So they haven't just started discussing what will occur this year due to the fact that we don't know where we will be at that point. But once we have that information, we do pass it on to the families. Steve, do you want to add anything to that about the graduation ceremonies? And
well, there isn't much to say. I mean,
yeah,
last year we had the drive-through parade, which was extremely hot. I mean, I was peeling because it was so hot outside. But it was great. I mean, there's a video on our YouTube channel, which we should probably put a link in the drop the link in the chat, but there's a video of the students as they came through, and we had over 400 seniors come through out of 475 graduates, I think it was. So we had over 80% come in, and with their parents and their families, and it was really, really special. I mean, it was really sentimental for us because we hadn't seen the students in person. And for me, as I was checking them in, it was really, really special to see them. It was really awesome to celebrate them as best we could. So I know we enjoyed it so much as Cabrillo staff that we know that we're gonna want to have it every single year, regardless of whether we have the the traditional graduation or not. I definitely know that we want to keep that drive through because it was so much fun.
And we had lots of teachers on the signs up of every student. We also did a senior wall of fame where the students were able to make posters about themselves with pictures, and we lined it all through the campus as they were driving through. And this year we will also be keeping that, having the students create a poster of themselves and creating a senior wall of fame. So we did really make sure that they were celebrated, and we got a lot of positive feedback about the drive-through parade, and we will continue with that, like Steve said.
Okay.
So that is the end of our presentation. We now have some time for some questions. So if there's any questions that have not been answered, we'd be more than happy to answer them for you. I don't know, our principal's here. I don't know if she wanted to say anything to anybody, just she was popping in. So if you
let me see if I can unmute her. Let me unmute her first.
Okay.
Let me see. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. I'm actually in the car driving.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, am I loud?
No, you're good.
Oh, I said, hi, everyone. No, I just popped in because I wanted to listen in. Good job on the presentation. Thanks, everyone who showed up. What a great turnout to all of our parents that came to watch. So thank you, Ms. Graneri and Mr. Duanes for the presentation, and our Long Beach City College partners.
I agree. Thank you guys for logging in and for listening to us. And like I mentioned at the beginning, we are available for any type of questions that you may have. So if you want to put it in the chat and it's more of a private question, we can go ahead and create breakout rooms so that we can speak to you privately. Just go ahead and put it in the chat. I think I can unmute all. I'm going to unmute all in case you have questions. Go ahead.
If not, you're more than welcome to log off. And we will be putting this presentation up on the school website for you. So Giselle asked why graduation is not on grad night. Grad night is not on graduation night. We have always had grad night on a Friday because graduation falls on a Thursday and staff members have to chaperone, and the next day they need to come to work. So we typically try to get it on a Friday night, so that way we have the ability to not do it during the week.
No, I wouldn't, because then it draws a text.
Ms. Granieri, I'm going to stop sharing. And
Okay,
I have to go into a breakout room with one of the participants.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, let's see.
Have a great evening.
I'm going to stop recording, Ms. Granieri.
Okay.